Hello everyone and welcome to my Bachelor Nation 24 channel, I hope. Everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Grayson Chrisley cries tears of joy as parents are pardoned. Grayson Chrisley cried tears of joy upon learning that his parents, Todd and Julie Chrisley, had been pardoned. He was with his sister, Savannah Chrisley, when President Trump called with the news, and it was clear he was in shock. So, what were his exact words? Keep reading for more details. Grayson Chrisley cries tears of joy. When Todd and Julie Chrisley were sentenced to a collective 19 years in jail, it deeply affected their children. Their daughter, Savannah Chrisley, became the guardian of their two youngest kids, Chloe and Grayson Chrisley. That was a daunting task, especially since she was young and still working on her career. However, she stepped up, and Grayson graduated from high school without his parents. Chloe and Grayson have praised Savannah and how much she did for them. They loved and appreciated her as if she were their own mom. Savannah even got Grayson off to college and made sure that his dorm was perfect. Now, Todd and Julie Chrisley have been pardoned by President Trump. This means they can come home any day, and Grayson was there when the call came in. He can be heard sobbing as President Trump shares that their parents will be home within a day, and he will do all he can to get them out ASAP. Grayson hopped on the phone and through tears, he thanked the president for freeing his parents. It was clear that he was overwhelmed but grateful at the same time. Savannah has worked to no end over the last 2 years to bring awareness to prison problems and free her parents. She has felt that they suffered behind bars and needed to come home. More so, she and Grayson Chrisley just spent time at a presidential event, and it was evident what their goal was. He posed alongside his brother, Chase Chrisley, wearing presidential slogan hats. They wanted to show their support for him, as their end goal was Todd and Julie's freedom. Fans are emotional with Grayson. After hearing Grayson Chrisley tear up and speak to the president, fans became very emotional. He shared where he went to college, and they had a brief back and forth. Now, they are waiting for word that they can go get their parents, which Savannah Chrisley is prepping for. She wants to ensure they have all they need to make the transition smooth. Regardless, the love and support are flowing. It was a moment Grayson Chrisley never saw coming, but one he quietly prayed for every single day. The morning air in Nashville was crisp and golden, filtering softly through the window panes as Grayson sat on the edge of his bed. He was scrolling through his phone, eyes heavy from another restless night. Life hadn't been the same since his parents, Todd and Julie Chrisley, were sentenced to federal prison. Their absence carved the hollow space into the heart of the once flamboyant Chrisley household, a silence that even laughter couldn't fully mend. But on this morning, everything changed. Grayson's phone lit up with a message that made his heart stop. It's official. They've been pardoned. At first, he didn't believe it. A cruel prank? A mistake? His fingers trembled as he clicked the link attached, leading to a breaking news alert that confirmed the impossible. After months of legal wrangling and public outcry, a presidential pardon had been granted. Todd and Julie Chrisley were officially free. Grayson stared at the screen, his lips parting slightly in disbelief. He blinked once, twice, and then the tears came, hot, unstoppable, and full of relief. He buried his face in his hands, sobbing uncontrollably. Not the bitter sobs of loss he had cried the day they went away, but a cathartic, joyous release that flooded his soul with hope. The weight that had pressed down on his teenage shoulders finally lifted, as if the world had shifted back into alignment. I can't believe it, he whispered through tears. They're coming home. Grayson stumbled downstairs, still clutching his phone. His sister Savannah was already in the kitchen, her own eyes wide with shock and red from crying. She looked up, and without a word, the siblings embraced. For all their public disagreements and differences, in this moment, they were just two kids who missed their mom and dad. I told you, Savannah choked out between tears. I told you this day would come. They're really coming home, Grayson repeated, as if saying it out loud. The family had always lived life in the spotlight. Flashy cars, designer wardrobes, and television cameras capturing their every move. But fame couldn't protect them from the consequences of their actions. When Todd and Julie were convicted of bank fraud and tax evasion, it sent shockwaves through reality TV culture. Grayson had been only 16, forced to grow up overnight, suddenly the man of a fractured house. What followed were two of the hardest years of his life. Grayson withdrew from the public eye. The once carefree, sports-obsessed teenager had become solemn, introverted. His days were split between school, helping Savannah with his younger brother Chloe, and visiting his parents when he could. Each prison visit was a mixture of hope and heartbreak, seeing them in person but unable to bring them home. But now that chapter was finally over. Within hours, the news was confirmed by the family's longtime attorney. Due to mounting questions around the fairness of the trial and an unexpected show of bipartisan support, the president had issued a pardon late the previous evening. Paperwork was already in motion to release Todd and Julie by the following morning. Grayson sat on the front porch of the Chrisley estate, watching the sun rise higher, as if the world itself was celebrating with him. The house had felt cold without his parents' presence. No scolding, no affectionate nagging, no over-the-top remarks from his dad. But now, the house felt alive again. "I just want to hug them," he said softly to a local news reporter who caught up with him later that afternoon. "I don't care about anything else. I just want to see them walk through that door." Social media exploded with reactions. Fans of Chrisley knows best flooded platforms with messages of support and celebration. #Chrisley Homecoming trended within hours. Former co-stars, reality TV personalities, and celebrities chimed in, sending well wishes to Grayson and his siblings. But behind the glitz and hashtags, the moment remained deeply personal for Grayson. Later that night, he walked into his room and found an old photo on his dresser. One of him as a little boy, sitting on Todd's lap, Julie beside them, all smiles during a family Christmas shoot. He traced the edges of the frame with his finger and smiled through a fresh wave of tears. "You kept your promise," he whispered. The next day, media vans lined the street as a black SUV pulled into the driveway. Todd and Julie stepped out, older, weary, but glowing with the kind of joy that comes from being reunited with those you love most. Grayson didn't wait. He bolted from the front door, tears already streaming again as he ran down the steps. "Dad, Mom." Julie let out a sob as Grayson crashed into her arms, holding her tight enough to make up for all the days they lost. Todd stood behind them, wrapping his arms around his son, burying his face in Grayson's hair. "I missed you, son," Todd whispered, his voice cracking. "You've grown up so much." "I just wanted you home," Grayson said. "I didn't care how. Just home." And they were. For the first time in years, the Chrisleys were whole. Inside the house, laughter echoed off the walls again. Julie sat in her favorite chair. Todd scrolled through DVR recordings of missed Dr. Phil episodes. Savannah prepared dinner, her famous garlic chicken, just like old times. Chloe danced around the living room, and Grayson. He stood back and watched it all, smiling through the tears that never quite stopped falling. This wasn't just a homecoming. It was the end of a nightmare, and the start of something new. The Chrisleys would still have to rebuild their image, answer questions, and navigate a changed world. But for Grayson, none of that mattered. Because on that day, his parents came home, and with them, they brought his heart back too.